and welcome to Zacaroni and Cheese staff interviews, the mystery of the haunted island. Today, we, Zacaroni and Cheese, are joined by the one, the only Brian Pearson, although I'm pretty sure there are plenty of people named Brian Pearson.
Brian Pearson.
The one that we know.
The one that you know.
Yes! Introduce yourself, Brian.
Hi, I'm Brian Pearson. I'm the one that you know. There's actually about 26 of us on Facebook, so I'm not as special, but I feel special when I'm hanging out with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No.
You are special.
Yes, you are. Very special.
All the Brian Pearsons
Yes.
that you know. Hi, guys.
Hi.
What's happening?
This interview. So now, Brian, how many years have you been involved with Big Stone Camp for Christ?
Okay, so I came to Big Stone Camp for Christ in 2006, I think. And then 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010, I had the privilege of directing, which is really, really special, and I'm really grateful for that. 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, I came as staff in general, so that's this many years. And then I came back 2 more years for 2 VBS style, primary camp with my youth group. So that many years equals 12 on my fingers and toes.
All right. So it is true. I've done my research. I know what I'm talking about, so you can take my word for it. Okay. But Brian, you're married.
Yeah, check this out. One of them fingers had one of these things on it.
Holy buckets.
Whoa.
Holy matrimony, for that matter.
That's true. That's true. Sorry, what were you saying?
Oh, you're good. I was going to just express my joy for when you 2 gentlemen enter that experience, because marriage is awesome and having kiddos is super duper amazing. And I'm a very grateful guy.
Yes, awesome. So why don't you give us a little bit more background about you, Brian? Tell us who you are. In fact, I bet there's a generation of campers that is not terribly familiar with you.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Brian. I grew up in Minneapolis, Minnesota, until I was 9, and then we moved to Bloomington, Minnesota. And I met Jesus through my parents and through my church and my family. And I knew that I was a sinner because, I get it. I do bad things, but I didn't know that God's forgiveness extends every time. I was like, growing up, I was like, hey, I'm sorry for my sin. I'm sorry. And I just kept like living in that. And then, I don't know, God just showed me and I learned that his forgiveness counts. Like what Jesus did on the cross counts. And that's really cool and freed me up and actually is like everything in my life. And so then, anyways, church was awesome and high school was cool. I graduated from Bethany Academy, which no longer exists, but that's okay. And then I went to Northwestern College, which no longer exists. Well, it still exists, but now it's University of Northwestern St. Paul. Light the way. Woo-woo. Northwestern, light the way. And then that's where a guy named Forrest Roy Johnson invited me to camp. This little camp called Big Stone Camp for Christ. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's pretty cool. It's on the bump of Minnesota, Ortonville, Minnesota. Yeah. It's great.
Bottom of the bump.
Well, the best part of the bump is what I like.
Bottom of the bump, top of the world. You know
what
they say.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. So yeah, I was in a phase of life where I really wanted to be married. I was a freshman in college and thought I knew God's best for me. And people were cool, but they weren't God's plan for my life, who I'd end up with. But I was kind of pushing the issue. And then God just gave me freedom to just like ask him to lead my life. I was kind of like, God, I'm going to follow you. But then I was kind of doing my own thing and like asking him to bless it. So anyways, that matters for my story, for my narrative, especially for Big Stone Camp for Christ, because I found myself like saying, God, you know what? I'm sorry. I've been telling you, I've been following you, but I haven't really been following you. I've been praying and then just doing what I want and like pursuing this relationship that really wasn't his plan for me. So I just said, God, what do you want for my life? What do you want me to do? And I just had this epiphany that like I could go to camp, and God just made that happen. And Roy asked me, and I went out there and met Jim Haslin and met Robin Johnson, and the rest is histoire, or history, as the French say.
Perfect.
Now, Brian, over all these years of camp that you've had, do you have any favorite memories?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I do. Thanks for asking. Yeah. How about you? Do you have any favorite?
Could you name a couple?
Sure. Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, it's kind of a funny one. First off, a huge part of my life, a huge part of some of my fondest memories are actually at Big Stone Camp for Christ. I'm sure that's a lot of you too, but isn't it cool how God just gives you just this amazing experience with him there? A lot of it's because we're all on the same team, just enjoying living together for Jesus. It just changes the way life happens, and just memories are made. So many of my fondest memories are actually from Big Stone Camp for Christ, but one of them stands out in particular. And I mean, Ben and Courtney's wedding at Big Stone Camp for Christ was a pretty big deal. But one fun little memory, it actually involves she's your elder sister. I don't know if she goes by like Lindbergh or something, but I called her Kaylee. We played a prank on camp. It was a psychological prank, and it really worked. See, there was a boy, and I'm going to change his name to Jimmy. Jimmy was a boy who was cool, but he didn't know it yet, and so everything he did came off as super annoying. And it's not his fault; it just did. And people didn't really, he would just say stuff, and people kind of discredited him. So when he would say stuff, everyone just kind of didn't take him for serious. So we had this prank where Kaylee was playing this beautiful song, and then she kind of messed up a little bit. This is skit night, of course, and you all know skit night is this epic time where there's funny and then there's serious, and people just kind of share what they're good at or try to make you laugh. I've heard this shtick as like Zacaroni and Cheese or something. It's this funny shtick. Anyways, skit night is a funny place where funny things happen from funny people. But sometimes it's just a serious thing. So Kaylee's just playing this nice piano thing, and she messes up a little bit. She actually didn't mess up. That was part of the shtick. You guys should get a shtick. Anyways,
We
and
should
when
get a stick.
you should just a big, speak softly, but get a big shtick. And anyway, so she messes up a little bit, and then Jimmy says, "This is awful. Yeah, Brian, I want you to play me a song." And oh, sweet Kathy Haslin. If any of the camp people know Kathy Haslin, her heart is actually made of gold. It's actually, she probably has a heart condition because it's made of gold. It's probably not good for her, but it is. And so she actually begins to gently but passionately rebuke Jimmy for his words that he had spoken. And then I go, "No!" And then Kaylee Lindbergh, whatever, turns around and starts playing the music from "Not Gonna Write You a Love Song," which was popular at the time. Sarah
Bareilles, yes.
Yeah, Bareilles, as the French say. And so I start singing a song that goes, "Camp's underwater, but they tell me," and they're just gonna go on and on. It's cute, but it's just a little part of camp memory. But everyone in the moment all of a sudden understands that this is all part of the shtick. But for that one glorious 5 seconds, everyone thought that Jimmy had just stopped the talent show because he was not okay with the lack of quality. He became Simon before Simon was really Simon. So that is one of my favorite funny little camp moments, because Kaylee and Jimmy and I were all in on it, and very, very, very few other people were. So we shocked the entire camp. You ask anybody that was there, it was the year of the legendary Camp Got Flooded year. That was the skit night of the Camp Got Flooded skit night. And so there you go. Kind of rambly. Boy, is this an interview or is this a monologue? Sorry. What's your next question? What's happening? I'm the Brian you know. Ronnie, I was just curious to know, where did you get your sunglasses?
If I'm telling you honestly, they're actually my sister's.
But if you were to not tell me honestly,
Um,
where'd you get them?
they're mine.
Oh, all right. Okay, cool. Yeah. And
Is it-
Cheese, where'd you get your sunglasses?
They're mine.
Oh my goodness, that's something. Don't ask me where I got my glasses. I have no idea. They just pop on my head. I just go do life. It's kind of how I live my life, anyways. Well, it's fun to always interview the interviewers. I just wondered where you got your glasses. It's kind of like letting people know your character development. Because I'm just a one-show guy. I'm a one-off. Like I get my name in the credit, but then you guys are like these, like, you know, your character develops and okay, yeah, kind of like a shtick, you know.
Yes.
We could use a shtick
Yes.
and a stick. A stick of shticks. A stick of sticks. By the way, quick little secret. Everybody get in close.
Yes.
These aren't my sunglasses. I borrowed them.
I see you.
I told you dishonestly.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
You're so sly.
I'm the slyest. Yes.
Sly dog.
Well,
What?
Cheese, is it time for the next segment?
I think it's time for the next segment. I was thinking the same thing.
Everyone's favorite segment.
It's time for Name That Thing.
Name that thing. Name that thing. That thingy thing. That thingy thing. Name that thing. That thingy thing. That thingy thing. What is that thing? Name that thing.
Cats Edition, not the musical. Not the musical.
Not.
Oh.
All right, Brian. If you're unfamiliar with this series, which I can't imagine why, but if you're unfamiliar, and for those at home who this is their first time watching, Name That Thing is a game where you, Brian, or the interviewee, is to name a thing that I show you. So, name that thing, Cats Edition, not the musical, very important. First thing to be named, Brian, give this thing a name. Name that thing.
Oh man, that's a skorkbunkle. Yeah, it's definitely a skorkbunkle.
Skorkbunkle.
I've seen one of those.
Ah.
Yeah. See how the ear on the skorkbunkle kind of waves a little bit? It looks just like a lynx. You've ever heard of a lynx?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm familiar.
Well, listen,
Familiar.
this is a skorkbunkle that it's like the sister of a lynx. It's a skorkbunkle.
And that comes from the curl of the skork? Is that what you call it?
It's a skorkbunkle?
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Does the name come from the curl of the skork, thus bunkling the curl?
I mean, yeah.
Yes.
It's Greek.
It's Greek.
Bunkle, yeah.
Interesting. All right. Next thing to be named. Name this thing.
Ah.
Wow. That's a streamer.
Streamer.
It just really streams. It just goes.
It just
Really
streams all the way.
Yeah.
And one final thing to be named by you, Brian, and for all the people at home, name that thing.
Ah.
This one?
Yes, this one.
That's Freddy.
It's Freddy.
Ready.
I think that is his name. I think all of the names were very accurate you gave, and I'm glad that you had the chance to play with us. Thank you for joining us in everyone's favorite section. Name that thing.
Name that thing. Name that thing. That thingy thing. That thingy thing. Name that thing. That thingy thing. That thingy thing. What is that thing? Name that thing.
Hey, what did you win? Did you win something?
Did I win something?
Yeah, what did you win? We just played a game show. What'd you win?
We are the hosts.
Don't
That's
let
it.
that keep you from anything. What did you win?
Brian, we won an amazing experience with you, sir.
Ah, yes.
And also now those pets won their names. They didn't know what
You did.
they.
You know, I saw a couple of those skorkbunkles the other day. I'm like, man, species are just getting rare and rare. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I hear they're being outcompeted by the lynx.
Mm.
Yeah, probably. Lot of things are getting out competed by the lynx.
That's true.
Hashtag save the
Very solid team.
Skorkbunkles.
Yeah.
Hashtag save the skorkbunkles. Hashtag
So do that.
the lynx are cool.
Yeah, I feel like I just helped humanity. Well, the world, Mother Teresa. I helped somebody. I did something.
You helped something
job.
somewhere. Sure did.
Thank you.
Now, Brian, we have one final thing for you tonight. Now, this is what you're going to need your guitar for.
Oh, I do have my guitar.
Okay. All the great series have musical intros, theme songs.
That's true. That's true.
Such as, like, Friends, Cheers, and all those type of shows. But we don't. And we need you to come up with our theme song on the spot right now.
Oh, okay. Wow. All right. Well, I've got my.
Oh. All right.
Well, okay. So, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
Is this thing on?
It's
Yeah.
on.
it's on.
Okay, cool. Okay. All right. Fun. Listen if you please. It's gonna be a breeze. Zacaroni and cheese.
That's perfect. That's awesome.
Perfect.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You, sir, are the creator of our very own Zacaroni and Cheese theme song. How do you feel?
I feel like fabric that has just been zippered to itself. I feel connected. I feel kind of tired because that took a lot out of me, but I feel really energized by that also. Mm-hmm.
Sure. I understand.
Kind of deep, but pretty simple when you think about it.
That takes us to the end of this interview.
Oh, good. Do I get to finally ask you some big questions? Because I'm ready.
Yes. Ask,
Yeah.
Sam,
ask questions.
why now? Who? Why not?
Why now? To answer that question is obviously the rise of the links and how first of all we need to bring awareness. What was the second question?
There's a couple of them. So how many?
How many? 9.
9. There's only
All right.
9 left.
And then a couple questions for you, Zacaroni. When was the last time?
Yes.
And then did you think about?
What?
Did you think about?
Did I think about what?
You did.
Yes.
That's interesting. All right. Cheese, last question for you. You know, did you think that maybe it would look like the way that it was, but when it didn't, what did you think about that?
The 115th age in of the third dynasty.
Oh. That's
Yes.
a mouthful. That is a mouthful. Okay, well, cool.
Yeah.
I just thought I'd pick your brain on that. It's fun to,
Yeah.
love interviews.
Yeah.
You're going to give me an interview.
Interviews are great.
I'm going to give you right back, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all for watching. Thank you, Brian, for joining us.
Well-
This has been Zacaroni and Cheese, the mystery of the haunted island. Staff interviews.
Yes.
Brian Pearson edition.
Thanks for including former staff. I feel honored, super honored and included. I feel the inclusivitation, no Paul, and I am blessed.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Amen.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
It's the monkey. Listen if you please, it's gonna be a breeze. Zacaroni and cheese.